Hi, everybody. I just saw this post by Hannah Taylor, not somebody that I know, but where she described red flags in ourselves that let us know that a relationship is unsafe. And I wanted to share a few of these red flags that I see in myself that let me know that something isn't right in a relationship, because often we're focusing on the other person in a relationship going, there's a red flag because they love bombing us, or because they're treating the waiter badly, or they're shouting at children, and we can see these red flags, or they've got an addiction. But we're not actually noticing what happens in our body. Like, we having the discernment of what's not safe in them and not looking at what is unsafe in ourselves. So, I wanted to share a few ideas of how I notice that a relationship is not good for me. One is trusting my friends. Like, I have one friend who said to me, don't get close to that person. He is a taker and you're a giver and you're going to get burnt out. And I was like, it will be fine. Oh, she was so right. And there was a sense in myself that I noticed that if I'm over giving, it's often because the other person doesn't necessarily see me. So I'm trying to show my value by overgiving. So if I have this panicked sense of oh, what can I do for them? Like to win them over by what I'm doing, then they're not valuing who I'm being. The other thing is noticing how I am trying to stop my feelings because I don't feel safe in there. So I feel like there's a frozenness inside of me that I'm not able to share the fullness of what I feel. And I can also see in myself this that I go so quickly to looking at what is going on in them, and I'm more over there for them than I am home for me. And that so comes from my childhood, where I had to notice what other people were doing, what other people were thinking, so that I could see what I could do to get my needs met and feel loved. And so if I have abandoned myself in my connection when I'm sitting with them, then I know for myself that this relationship is going to be hard work, because I'm going to be leaving myself a lot. So if I notice, when I'm meeting somebody, do I feel at home in myself because they facilitate this at homeness, or am I over talking or over curious and leaving myself? Then I know that this relationship isn't safe. And then I also notice that if I'm kind of smiling and glazed out because what they're saying is quite superficial, and I don't want to be rude inside of myself, so just smile and kind of glaze out, and I'm not able to be authentic with them, that I'm not able to go, oh, I really love depth. Can we talk about something interesting? Then if I'm struggling to listen to them, then I know for myself that they are not going deeply in themselves. Generally, if somebody's going deeply, I'm fully engaged. But if I know that if I am going dizzy out of myself, then I know that the conversation is not going to be something in the relationship that is good. And if I'm finding myself going, the sound of my voice when I laugh is like this. I'm laughing because I want you to feel okay about what you're saying, but it's not in my zone of interest. I like things that are, even if I'm not interested in, I had this friend who was a sound engineer, and I don't do sound engineering, and music is really hard for me because I've got sensory processing stuff. But I loved her love for it, and I went to gigs with her and helped her set up, and I went to her sound engineering exam and sat outside and waved because I just love her. But I felt so relaxed and at ease with her that we could walk around and she would say, "Oh, be quiet. I'm tired of hearing you natter." There was just such love, and I just felt so at ease and home in my own body. The other thing that I notice in myself is if I'm trauma bonding, like if I'm sharing things that are deep and too vulnerable too fast, it tends to be that I'm trying to quicken the relationship because I feel like there isn't a connection. So if I could just get to that place of closeness, then it would be all right. But I have to catch myself. And there was a couple of people a few months ago that I shared something. And then I went, that wasn't mine to share. So contacted the person that I'd shared about. It was just that they'd got an interview for something. And I said, "I'm really sorry I shared that." But I realized that it was me trying to show that I had a close friendship. When I'm having to prove, and I caught myself in the moment too and said, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that." And I got straight away that there was such a disconnection in the friendship that I was trauma bonding, of oversharing myself because I didn't feel connected in the relationship. There was a disconnect. And so I was, instead of owning that disconnect and facing it together, because I didn't feel like I would be met in that, I was trying to kind of loop over it. And in a healthy, loving relationship, I can just share, "Hey, I can feel this disconnection. What is this here?" If I don't feel safe, I can't share that because I know that either they will overreact and shame and make me wrong, or they'll abandon me. So I can't share the depths of what I'm feeling. And I can't talk about like a meta relationship of sharing, "Hey, I'm noticing in our relationship, this is what's going on." In healthy relationships, that's really easy to say, "Hey, I'm noticing this is going on." If I cannot share with somebody, "Hey, this is how I'm feeling in our connection," then I know that I'm not going to be safe in that. And there many of my relationships, I never ever have to say that, but I feel safe enough that I could, because they're loving, kind people. The other red flag in myself where I know that a relationship is not healthy for me is that I feel like I'm wearing a skin of shame. Like I'm embarrassed to be who I am because of maybe they look at me. I don't really wear makeup very much. I'm pretty messy. But if I feel their judgment inside of me and I can get their eye glimpsing at me, but I'm wearing this skin of shame, then I know this relationship is not going to be comfortable and happy for me. And I'm not just talking about like, it can be a relationship with a client. It can be a relationship with I'm not meaning like a sexual relationship, a therapeutic relationship with a client. It can be with a friend, with a intimate relationship, even with a client. If I'm feeling like I'm being judged and criticized a lot, it's far healthier that they find a different therapist, because you need to work with somebody. So if I'm feeling frequently like the skin of shame just implants itself on me while I'm relating, then I know it's not a healthy relationship for either of us. And then the other thing is if my voice becomes high-pitched and thin, like it's just like this, and it's struggling to get out, then I know that it's fake, because I know that not all of me is being accepted. So often we are looking outside of ourselves, noticing what are the red flags in other people that let us know that a relationship is not healthy for us. And I want you to check in and see what are the red flags in you that tell you that a connection is not safe. And I don't mean that, if you're having to work with a work colleague and you can tell, oh, you go high here. If you're doing that, you need to get safe. And you need to be able to feel calm in yourself, because otherwise those are early signs of triggers that are letting you know that things aren't okay. If you don't know how to turn towards those and get safe, then come along to the Tame the Triggers workshop that's starting next week. Or the warm-up is next week. We've had to delay it because my assistant, his mom has died from COVID, sadly. So we're delaying it for a week so that she can go to the funeral, and there's stacks to organize. So send love to her with me, and next week we'll begin the warm up, and then the 27th we begin the workshop. So come and join us. If you don't know how to get safe when you're in relationships and you don't know how to turn towards yourself and notice these things, many of us who've had relationships where people are dismissive, where we've had parents who are dismissive, who ignore what we feel, who push us into toxic relationships. Like I remember my mum saying, oh, go for that guy because he needs somebody who his dad committed suicide and his mother's an alcoholic, and your love would change him so much. I felt so uncomfortable with the guy, but she invited him, made him tea and coffee. Healthy guys who loved me, she'd be like, oh, he's a bit nice. I'm like, what's wrong with nice? Surely I deserve somebody nice. So she taught me to disconnect from my own senses and my own intuition. And I really want you to come home to yourself and notice, what are the red flags in you? What are the moments, the early signs of triggers that are letting you know something isn't okay? If that's a struggle for you, come and join the Tame the Triggers workshop. We'd love to have you with us. All right, I'm sending you love. And I'm curious, share in the comments, what are the red flags that you see in yourself when you're in relationships that are toxic? What are the red flags that you are noticing? That maybe your body, there's a sign in the pit of your stomach. What do you notice that lets you know this relationship isn't healthy for me? Like the other day, I was driving with my daughter, and I sometimes have these crazy hallucination type things. And it's a part of autism where things kind of come alive. And we were driving along, and out of this guy's face came the image of a wolf. And I was just said to my daughter, that is a guy you need to stay away from. The wolf didn't look friendly. It looked like, he looked like sweet and nice, but underneath there was this and so I said to my daughter, he would be a guy that you need to stay away from. And that sort of intuitive thing of what are the red flags in us when we get to know our own bodies, our emotions, our facial expressions, then we know what's not healthy, so that we stay in healthy relationships. And if you want to discover that, want to discover how to get safe in yourself, catch those triggers early, come and join the Tame the Triggers workshop. We would love to have you. It will help you come alive to yourself, believe in yourself, know that you matter, and deserve to be in relationships that are filled with goodness and love and care. All right, I'm sending you love, and I hope you'll come and join us. The link is there, restoring.love/workshop. All right, love to you. Oh, I see there's a comment. Sending you so much love, Fee. Loads of love. Bye, everyone.